So you ready? Well, good morning and welcome. Thank you to all you for coming and joining us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a great day for Bedford County. I want to start by introducing our State Representative, Pat Marsh, who will announce some rural broadband information.
Thank you, Mayor Graham. I'm proud to be here today. I'm honored to be here today on such a momentous announcement coming from our partners, United Communications and the state of Tennessee and in Bedford County. First off, I want to thank Governor Lee for putting this money into this broadband expansion account. He didn't have to do that. I'm on the CARES Stimulus Accountability Group, and we were challenged and had a goal to properly spend $2.3 billion that came to the state of Tennessee from the U.S. government. So that's a lot of money. In my opinion, it's a ton of money, and you'd think it would be easy to spend it, but there are a lot of rules, there are a lot of people wanting it, and it's all got to be spent and disposed of correctly by December the 31st of this year. So it's a huge task. But I want to thank Governor Lee for making this money available. I want to thank F&A Commissioner Butch Ely. I've worked with Governor Lee and Commissioner Ely a lot on these funds, and they've got great plans. And I think the money is really going to the places that actually really need it and are going to make a difference in Tennessee for us to keep moving. I want to also thank Assistant Commissioner with ECD, Sammy Arnold, who's over the rural development area, and his Crystal Ivy, who is the lady that looked at all of these possible grants. I think there were 89 grants turned in. They approved 62, I believe, and they approved over $61 million to come out into the state of Tennessee into underserved or no-served areas for broadband. And United received 3 awards. In Bedford and Marshall County, we're getting $2.6 million total. The state's putting in $2.1, and William and his company are going to put in about $500,000 to serve parts of our county in northern and some in the southern part to try to get it out to people that actually really need this and will make a difference in their lives. And these broadband expansion grants, what we're doing with them, they help our schools. They help a lot of people in business that cannot, because of the virus, go to work. They're working from home, so they've got to have this. It also helps our citizens, our everyday citizens, to be able to get the news, to watch sports, and to work from home. Also, it's really helping in the telehealth and telemedicine area, which we desperately needed. It's helping with schoolwork. It's helping with shopping, helping our businesses keep in business and keep our sales tax coming into the state. So it's all kinds of great positives that we're doing with this money. I am the chairman of the House Utility Subcommittee, and I've been on Commerce and Utility and all those committees that have to do with utilities for most of my time in Nashville. And so I've learned a lot about broadband expansion and the need for it, and I get calls daily from citizens here asking me to help them move it out into their areas because they don't have it, or they don't have it good enough to do their work or their homework. So normally I call William or I call Josh and I call Don, and I try to get people that can go out and look at the areas and hopefully they can serve it. And I've been surprised at how many they can serve once they go look at it. They might have to cut a tree down or have to put up some more satellite dishes here and there. But it is spreading out. It's very labor intense, it's very expensive, and everybody wants it now. And that's what I tell them. You can get it now, but you might get it with a satellite that's not very good, but it is coming. And I can tell by what we've done in this grant application of $61 million, I think there's going to be like almost 800 more people served in Bedford County than had it yesterday. That's not a lot in one way, but it's a whole lot in another way. If you're one of those 800 people, it's a massive improvement. So I think this is a super nice deal. I want to tell you one more thing that I didn't realize until I got in this position as chairman of the utility district, I thought what we should do is get government money and put it in everywhere. Why not? Let's let government pay for all of it. Most people think that way until you look at the big picture and you find out that United Communications, AT&T and Charter and Comcast and Ben Lomond, they have billions of dollars invested in their systems. And they're really not interested in competing with government entities. So the right thing to do, in my opinion, is for there to be a great partnership between government providing some of the money and looking to them and the counties and deciding where it's actually needed and partnering with them and giving them an incentive to move out, making them put some skin in the game, and everybody wins. And I think in the last 4 or 5 years, the legislature has put $60 million into grant funds for broadband expansion. And now we've got $61 million on top of that. And I think there's $28 million more in this pot that are going to probably go to somebody in the near future. So, and the caveat with this money is it has to be spent and the internet actually working by December the 31st. So you've got a big job to do, William. And I want to thank William and Josh and Dawn for everything they've done. And I know you're partners with Middle Tennessee Electric. We appreciate what they're doing to push everybody out and get this done. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor, for your part into it. And I also want to thank Greg Vick, who is behind this and emailing me and calling Chad every day, telling us to get off our tails and get out there and work, make calls, and it's working. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Pat, for those words. And you can tell by his comments that he's committed to Bedford, he's committed to our communities, he's committed to our partners and leadership. We're grateful for that. I want to say to you, 2 years ago, when the people of Bedford County elected me, one of the most important conversations and topics that was talked about and brought up and discussed on the campaign trail was broadband. How do we get it? Where is it? What's the future look like? How do we attract industry? How do we bring people to our community that can support what we're trying to do? One of the things I ran on, I had 3 main topics. One would be education. Public safety was very important to me. And then infrastructure that leads to economic development or a better Bedford. From day one, Commissioner Greg Vick and I have been working on this project. First, we were told we didn't really qualify for grant assistance. I couldn't quite understand that because I still considered us to be rural, and so many people do, and we do have areas that don't have it. Then we were told maybe a small part of the county might meet the criteria. After that, then we found out that maybe part of the county qualified, but not all the county. Well, that led to some frustration and some pondering of where do we go from here? How do we make sure that we have a seat at the table when funds become available? There was a lot of things that went on, but out of frustration, we certainly reached to Representative Pat Marsh, who told me, Mayor, be patient. The governor's working on something for us. So today, I'm excited to tell you that Pat was right. Governor Lee and his administration have been working on something. I'm grateful to Governor Lee for his commitment to rural counties, because we're one of them. Governor Lee has provided over $2 million to help us jumpstart high-speed broadband here in Bedford. This day would not be possible without the efforts and commitment of Representative Marsh and Senator Shane Reeves, who couldn't be here today. This day obviously would not be possible without Governor Lee. There's a lot of other people it wouldn't be possible without. It wouldn't be possible without Wendell Smith and the Bedford County Utility District. It wouldn't be possible without the leadership of Commissioner Greg Vick and Commissioner Tony Smith, who championed our efforts to be sure we were a broadband-ready community when this day came. And it certainly would not have been possible without United Communications and their president, William Bradford, for their willingness to invest in Bedford, because we're not the only market that they serve. Bedford County has a long-standing relationship with United Communications, even prior to United with Josh and the folks that have believed and recognized the value of Bedford. this is an example of how a public and a private partnership can be a game changer in a community. If we'd not all come together, if the people in this room weren't here, Bedford may not have been able or had been in position to take advantage of this great opportunity. This is the first step in getting broadband truly county-wide, but it's the next step in a better Bedford, and I'm excited to be a part of improving quality of place in our county. And now it's my privilege to introduce Mr. William Bradford, the President of United Communications.
Thanks, Mayor Graham. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say we all would rather be somewhere else than wearing masks and talking about a pandemic. But what I like about the people in this room is we recognized early on we were dealt this hand. We can't sit around feeling sorry for ourselves, and we have to do something about it. So we're fortunate to have State Rep Marsh, who chairs the Utility Commission, who's on the Financial Stimulus Accountability Group, and who calls us not just allocating billions of dollars. I get emails from him every week. There's a nice little lady that lives up the road and she doesn't have broadband. Is there something you can do? He really works at the individual constituent level, and he's the only state rep that we have that kind of interaction with. And if everybody thought at the individual level, I think we'd be in a really good place. It's pretty interesting, as we sit here and come up with our action plans on how we deal with the pandemic. One of the first things we had to acknowledge was we're in this for the long haul, and things have got to change. And Mayor Graham, you mentioned running on a platform of education, public safety. The one thing this pandemic has highlighted is that broadband, it truly is a long-term solution for education, for public safety, for enjoying surfing and streaming at home, and hopefully we can make a big difference on making telemedicine work in the rural areas, and especially Bedford County. So we're proud to do our part to make Bedford a better Bedford. We've seen firsthand, March 16th is the day in my head that the world sort of shut down, and that was the day our business took off. We were trying to keep our employees safe, and we saw a record number of orders for new internet come in because people were trying to figure out how to be at home more. We saw a 30% increase in traffic on our network overnight, and luckily our engineers like Scott and a lot of people that graduated from Bedford County schools were really prepared for this kind of situation, and we handled it really well. We see video conferencing has put amazing demands on the network. VPN, so people can work and log on to school at home, have changed how the network works. And all these things point to the need for a dedicated fiber optic network, right? DSL, cable service no longer support the kind of network and reliability that we need. And that's why fiber truly is the only solution. And that's why every single one of the applications that were granted by the governor and State Rep Marsh were for fiber networks, because they realized that is a long-term investment in the future. Now, it's so cool. I think within a few weeks of the pandemic shutting down the world, we had Mayor Graham, Commissioner Vick, Commissioner Smith. Before we even knew we could get together and be in the same room, they were saying, we need you down here talking about what we can do right now to deploy fiber. I think way before the mask mandates even came out, or the mask recommendations came out, they were asking us to come down and figure out a plan. And within 2 months, they worked with the water district to get us access to water towers. They were writing letters of support for grant applications at the state level. We've put in federal applications that we hope to get good news on here in the next 4 or 5 months to bring some federal dollars to Bedford County. So it truly is awesome to think that this $2.5 million investment that's going in over the next 90 days is just the beginning of a long-term initiative. And that initiative for us is the Middle Tennessee Connectivity Initiative. We launched this a couple years ago with an effort to bring fiber optic broadband to the unserved areas of Middle Tennessee. And there's unserved areas in Rutherford County, Williamson County, Marshall County, Bedford County, Franklin County. And that's really where we're putting $2 million a month right now to work in deploying broadband throughout the region. The Middle Tennessee Connectivity Initiative is getting a huge shot in the arm with this CARES Act money, and really allowing us to focus on Bedford County. You can see we very intentionally spread our investment out in the northern and southern parts of the county so that we can come back in early 2021 and keep building on that fiber backbone and provide more and more services. So although phase one of this is going to deliver fiber broadband to 750 customers, by the time we launch phase two, phase three next year, this is going to impact thousands of residents in Bedford County, and really just the beginning of something special. With that, I want to thank everybody in this room. It really is, even though this pandemic is a global pandemic, I think what we found is that local leaders that take responsibility and decide they have to have a local solution are the ones that are making a difference in their communities. And you can see that in action right here. We've got a local solution with a local company, with lots of Bedford County employees, partnering with local government and the state government to make a huge difference in a rural county. And so we're really proud to be a part of that and look forward to many, many years of big investment and big broadband in Bedford County. Thank you all. Am I asking, are we going to splice some fiber? So we joke we're going to put Pat in our sales department because it costs us about once a week with constituent please broadband, but now we're going to train Mayor Graham to be splicing fiber because we've only got 90 days to make thousands and thousands of splices. So this is really a workforce development exercise. All right, Scott, are we ready to go? So afterwards we'll invite you to come up and see what fiber is, and it's amazing how tiny these little strands of glass are.
So the two fibers here are ready. We prepped them for Mayor Graham to take advantage of this opportunity to train him on splicing fiber. So whenever we get here, these are the size of human hair. This splices them together so that it's like it's never been apart. It's way of the future. Data travels at the speed of light across this network.
All right, Mayor Graham, we're going to let you use this $10,000 piece of equipment to use the first fiber for rural Bedford County.
All right, great. Great job. There we go.
All right, perfect. No loss. Yep. You got it. All right, thank you. You know, one thing I failed to mention, Mayor Graham and Commissioner Vick and Commissioner Smith, I know you guys are maybe the official or unofficial broadband committee for Bedford County. We made a commitment even before the grants came out from the CARES Act to invest in Bedford County, and so we're pleased to announce today we completed construction in the Russell Ridge area, bringing our first investment under the Middle Tennessee Connectivity Initiative to Bedford County, serving 100 residents. So that was a project we did 100% on our own. We knew we had to get started and we couldn't wait on all the government programs to get organized. So we already have a good head start in Bedford County, and I think starting today we'll be installing fiber optic customers in the Russell Ridge area. So you can see by the end of the year we'll be well over 1,000 customers that have access to fiber optic broadband and just getting started. Oh yeah, any questions? We're happy to talk to anybody afterwards.
I want to say just one thing. I called Josh and William about a month ago about, with my house, I'm out 4 or 5 miles out in the country, would I qualify? And that very day, I don't know if William even knows it, they had a tech drive up to my driveway that day. He got out and hooked up a drone and flew the drone on top of my house and sat there and did calibrations and called me back the next day and said, you qualify, and it's faster speed than what I've got with my current provider. So I've just got to get up enough nerve to make the change because I've got so many things hooked up to it, I'm not sure I'll be ever like I am now, but I'm gonna have to ask you to help do all of that. So I'm excited about it. They can do it not just with fiber, but with wireless. It's amazing to me. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Great.
Thank each of you for being here. Thank you, United. Thank you for all of our partners and the vision leaders in this room. I believe this concludes this part of it, but there's going to be a photo op downstairs. Is that right? So if the VIPs or anyone that wants to be involved wants to make their way down to the steps of the courthouse on the mayor's office end, we'll make that photo op happen. We're grateful and we thank each of you for being here today.